Welcome to the All Access Podcast from the experts at Tebis. Each episode, we'll talk about technology topics, trends, or solutions that manufacturers need to know in today's rapidly evolving times. Sit back, enjoy the discussion, and let us know what you think.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the All Access Podcast. I am your host, Michael Thiessen, and this is a special episode. I know most of our episodes are special, as I agree, but this one is extra special. Why am I saying this? Well, we kind of threw this particular episode in because there is a very important event coming up that I think needs to be highlighted and should be highlighted. Of course, just like in any of the other episodes, we have a guest in-house that can help me talk a little bit about this event. This particular individual is no stranger to the All Access Podcast. He's actually the person that kind of makes sure that I'm kind of on track with everything. But this particular person is very important, especially to a particular CAD/CAM organization. Of course, I'm talking about Tebis. I'm not talking about any other software company out there. And of course, who is the president? Who have we had on before on the podcast? That is Mr. John Kowalczyk. Now, in case you're not aware of Tebis or Tebis America for that matter, we have been around, or Tebis America has been around for the last 30 plus years already. So this software company is not a newcomer, but there's constantly a new buzz of new technology that's going on. And right now, this particular time, because we have the largest manufacturing show in the Western Hemisphere coming up, IMTS is just around the corner again. And because of that reason, I've invited John Kowalczyk, president of Tebis USA or Tebis America, to this particular podcast, just to kind of give us his insight a little bit, to talk with him a little bit of what is important about this particular event. And because he has been in this particular environment, in the CAD/CAM and the machining environment, gosh, for the last 30 plus, if not longer years. So he has a lot of credibility when it comes to talking about and walking the walk of machining and manufacturing. With that said, let me introduce and get John Kowalczyk actually on the call here, and welcome, John.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Michael. It's very, very good to be back, especially for this special episode about IMTS. IMTS is always a huge event for us, and just so our listeners know, I'm maybe dating myself, but I've participated in every IMTS since 1998. So very many, which they're all interesting and exciting, and they never disappoint. It's almost here again, believe it or not, and I'm very excited about this one. If not the most excited, we have a lot happening at Tebis right now. We have new technology, we have new ideas, and even a new refreshed look for the company. So with that said, IMTS gives us a great opportunity to bring all of this together and show manufacturers where we're heading.
That is true. And it truly is buzzing over here in our offices because there's computers pretty much in every hallway. There's aluminum models that are going to be about ready to head on out to the show. So there's lots going on, as John already mentioned. Now, John, you mentioned something to the fact of almost like looking at the future or looking at some type of repositioning of Tebis. You tell us a little bit more about this.
So we have a new refreshed look and feel with the company. A little bit, we won't get into a whole lot of detail little subtle on the look, but very nice. But I think a more important thing is our direction going forward. Uh, I'm not going to get into at the moment. Some of it needs to be a surprise at IMTS.
Of course.
So, but things like, are refining our mission going forward in a very good way. Let's call it this.
Well, Tebis has been around. Tebis EG has been around for 40 plus years. And what Tebis is doing, I think, quite well is always looking into the future to kind of see what's going to be coming up or what they're working on. And as you said already, they're repositioning themselves, looking at themselves and positioning themselves ready for the next 40, if I may say that. So you already mentioned new technology, and you've gone to many of the IMTSs. Tebis has been at many of the IMTSs. Why do you think IMTS is such an important event? Why is it a magnet for the manufacturing industry?
So really, there's a couple of reasons, in my opinion. First, IMTS brings such a large portion of the manufacturing community all in one place. This gives us obviously an opportunity to show what Tebis is doing. But just as importantly, we get to spend time with customers. We get to meet new manufacturers and talk with other technology companies at IMTS. And those conversations are very valuable to us, extremely valuable. We want to understand what manufacturers deal with today, what their struggles are, and where they're trying to automate, and where do they see their business over the next several years. I mean, this is obviously this manufacturing industry, as we know, just keeps going more and more at the speed of light, and everyone is trying to keep up. So these are conversations that will take place. They're very good conversations for us to understand, so we can do our best to help solve challenges that other manufacturers have.
And I think you're right. It's the greatest technology spectacle in the world, I would say. I mean, the IMTS used to be 2 weeks long, and I remember you and me been there for many, many years. We were dreading those 2 weeks because those were 2 long, difficult weeks that we had to be in and out of hotel rooms, going during the day to the IMTS floor, dealing with thousands of visitors every single day, going out at night for dinners. And Chicago is not an easy place to maneuver through because there's so many people there, visitors coming in to visit the IMTS show, exhibitors that are there. Everybody needs to have dinner in the Windy City, and of course, it's a huge deal. What do you think is the technology that we could potentially see this time around?
Wow, that's a quite a big question there, Michael. The nice thing at IMTS is you're always going to see something new. You're always going to see something interesting. At times, you'll come across technology. Wow, that's very interesting. Why didn't I think of this or whatever? But I think what you're going to see a lot of, you're going to see as the whole industry is talking about, they're talking about automation. How can my business do more with less? How do I get to the next level? How can I be fully confident in my process and make sure it's also safe on the shop floor, as I'm applying, dare I say, AI. AI is another huge buzzword, but technology also that's out there, and it's in the infancy stages right now. So what you're going to see is you're going to see many technology companies with, as they should, some thoughts and some development of technology towards these areas.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing a lot of robotic applications, I think, at this show. We'll probably see, like you said, a lot of automation type geared utilization. On the machine side, we probably see a lot more difficult machineries. If these are turn mills or those kind of things, you see probably a lot of those. You probably see also a lot of aerospace type of applications. I mean, if I think of there's companies like Babius that are great aerospace machinery for CNCs. You see companies like Zimmerman or Fuke that also focus on the aerospace. Why do you think aerospace, if I go towards that industry? Because IMTS is not just about mold and die. It encompasses every single industry that is out there. If that's medical, if that's aerospace, of course, there's the airline portion of it, and as well as the space exploration portion of it. It attracts every single industry. Now, on the aerospace side, we see a little bit more of an uptick that there's more and more visitors coming from that particular direction. Why do you think that is?
So that's a great one to touch on. Aerospace is very attractive to Tebis, not simply because it's a large market, but the problems aerospace manufacturers need to solve align extremely well with what we, Tebis, do best. You're dealing with complex geometry, you're dealing with expensive materials, you have very demanding quality requirements, and process reliability and repeatability are so important. And when you're machining these high value, high cost components, a simple mistake can be very expensive. That plays directly into areas where Tebis is very strong, meaning complex machining, 5-axis processes, our automation, and virtual machining. Not the I want to emphasize virtual machine is very strong one. They all are, but this is another strong one. So for us, aerospace represents a very logical opportunity for us to apply decades of manufacturing experience to another industry and continue expanding our presence as we move forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the aerospace industry has been booming. I mean, we've heard Boeing and the announcements of how many planes they're manufacturing. And of course, all these parts have to be somehow manufactured, and it's definitely has been an uptick. And Tebis has been phenomenal over the last, for the last 30 plus years, we have been known for being the staple hood for mold and die applications. But over the last, I would say, what would you say, John, 10 years or so, Tebis really has been focusing on the utilization of Tebis in the aerospace market.
Oh, even before that, Michael, it's been definitely more than 10 years. Maybe in the last 10 or as recent as the last 10, much higher focus, let's call it.
And you've alluded to the entire idea of digital twins and virtualization of the machining area. Tell us a little bit more about what Tebis is doing on that side.
Well, when it comes to virtual machine simulation, this ties in obviously to the digital twins. I mean, we have to think of it in terms of automation, right? So, in order for you to truly automate substantially, you need to consider safety. You highly need to consider this. So you need tremendous confidence in your digital process before you hit cycle start on the machine. You have to be 100% confident the complete tool, all the tool paths, everything that you set to the machine is going to run and near lights out or near lights out without attending at the machine. You don't we're past the days of having a person standing by this machine, holding their hand over that big red mushroom button if something happens. That can all go away. So this is why the virtual machining is so important. I mean, the objective is to represent the actual manufacturing environment digitally and understand what is going to happen before the program reaches the machine. So, in short, this means considering the machine itself, all the components, the fixtures, the tools, and the workpiece, in addition to the toolpath. So you have to encompass all of these components to have a true digital twin environment.
Tebis has been doing this virtualization already for a very long time. And the simulation equipment that Tebis has kind of stands out. Why do you think that is compared to a lot of the other software that are out there? What is Tebis doing different in the area of virtual machining or digital type of machining?
Well, for starters, we've introduced this technology decades ago, and obviously, as it was first introduced, it was new. And don't get me wrong, we may not have been the first one on the block to introduce it, but it was very early, and we've evolved ours, and we've to a point where, as I mentioned earlier, we take in consideration everything. I'll give you a simple example. You take I'll call it a group of toolpaths. You create several toolpaths. You send them to the virtual machine before it goes out to the floor. Many simulators out there, they do a good job and they'll check each toolpath, whether it's good, whether it's not good, whatever. However, with the Tebis virtual machine, every movement in between toolpaths, when they connect, when they go to the tool changer, exclusively checks for each and every movement along the way to assure you that you can be confident going to the machine.
Yeah, it's not just the safety portion of it, but also the optimization portion of it, and also the scheduling. I mean, even determining within 5% of accuracy of how long a particular toolpath goes, because data nowadays is incredibly important, and all this information of how long Tebis estimates of how long this particular part goes, because initially all we have is a number, right? We quote a particular job, and this particular job takes 15 hours, we think, to run on the machine, and then Tebis, with its technology and the optimization and the virtual machining, comes up with 12 hours. And that automatically gets updated. And this is where Tebis also has a very important aspect of that particular chain, and that's taking that data and not just leaving it as data, but actually utilizing it in the MES world. Tell us a little bit more about the Tebis MES.
Yeah, the Tebis, the manufacturing execution system, the MES. Let me lead a little bit more into this. That we're actually happy and fortunate to have Marty, one of our team members. He has a speaking event at IMTS. He will talk in more detail about MES and the functionality, how it works. But I would like to also elaborate a little bit more on this. It's very important because manufacturers are being asked to do so much more with the resources they already have, and one of the biggest challenges we continue to see is companies have tremendous knowledge, they have lots of technology in their organizations, but they don't necessarily have real-time visibility into what's actually happening on the shop floor. The reality is, you have, jobs start late, priorities change, materials or information aren't always ready, and bottlenecks occur. I mean, these are just day-to-day activities. So very quickly you find people spending their time reacting and firefighting rather than improving the processes, spending valuable time in valuable areas. So that's really what Marty will speak about and address when he talks. So he'll talk more about how to move from reacting to what's already happened to having information necessary to make these better decisions before it becomes a problem. I mean, it goes beyond, but this is an important part of the MES. I won't get into all the details. We don't have enough time, how does pre-planning and planning and other areas, which again, Marty will touch on a lot of these areas, but I just want to stress in a sense, one of the areas that I think is very important and can really, really improve a manufacturer's process.
Right. And the way that the MES system kind of works together hand in hand with the CAM system that Tebis has is very unique. It's manufactured by the same group of people in Germany that we have in our CAM system. And honestly, this Tebis MES or ProLeiS, it is called in Europe, has been in production for the last, I would say, 30 years already. So it's been a seasoned product. It works smoothly together with the Tebis CAM system. And just recently we had a webinar where we showed how smoothly this all works together and how much of a benefit it is to the end user. Now, Tebis, you just brought out a very particular package for the MES side. Can you tell us a little bit more about that particular package that I think you'll be pitching at IMTS?
As far as the Tebis MES, one of the things we want to do is, I'll call it lower the barrier to get started. So with MES, it doesn't have to mean that you try to transform your entire company overnight. Over time, through many discussions and talking with manufacturers, we've realized this, and it's daunting to some companies and manufacturers because yes, there's some work behind it, and yes, there's step-by-step process. However, the gains so much further outweigh what you're going to get out of this compared to where you are today. So a more practical approach is to establish a foundation, identify where better visibility and process control can create value, and just begin there. Let's start slow and focus on one area. I'll say perfect that area or get it where you like it, and then move on to another. So we're putting together an attractive package for this reason, to help manufacturers get involved and take the scared factor away from it, let's call it.
Right. If you're at IMTS, stop by at the Tebis booth and ask particular about the foundation package that John just alluded, because it is a really great way to enter into it and get a ton of benefits from that particular package. Now, let me pivot to the CAM side. So on the CAM side of Tebis, there's a lot of buzz. We hear a lot on the internet and on videos on LinkedIn about a very particular solution that Tebis has developed, have won actually an innovation award as well. And the word itself probably doesn't mean a lot to individuals, but this is where I want you to elaborate a little bit more about the SmartOps technology that Tebis has developed. Tell us a little bit more about that.
The SmartOps is our technology term, let me call it, for this. It's an important part of the automation story that we're going to be bringing to IMTS as well. And the idea behind it is to help manufacturers move towards a more consistent, repeatable, and automated process. Again, rather than relying on individual decisions every step of the way. We want people to see at IMTS not simply another software function. We want them to see how the technology can help create more controlled manufacturing process and reduce the amount of manual intervention that's required. So, yeah, we will happily be demonstrating in practical manufacturing scenarios at our booth. And I think this will give visitors a very good picture of where Tebis is taking process automation. So you can think of the SmartOps as the Tebis automation brains in a sense.
Well, Tebis is really keen on making sure that the technology that Tebis develops is value added to every single customer. Because really, if it's value added, it automatically creates revenue for the end customer that is utilizing it. And this is where I think where SmartOps really comes in place to minimize the amount of redundancy or the mundane manual entity of the entire manufacturing process, and streamlining that a little bit more so that it's not that it is value added to the customer, such as continuously doing the setups and closing your surfaces and all those kind of things that are really labor intensive. But what if you can do a lot of these things fully automatic? And this is really where SmartOps come into play, and it's automating the next level, which works so great with what you were saying earlier with the virtualization of it together, because everything has to work together in order to automate. If it's the tooling, if it's the virtual machines, if it's the clamping devices, and all of it really comes from the parameterization of all these components inside Tebis, because Tebis truly is a fully parametric system and a complete solid model system. So this SmartOps package will be, I think, front and center along with it, but there is a very particular tool that I think is very close to your heart. You're kind of very secretive a little bit about this because I think it is going to deliver to the visitor at IMTS good telematics of where they kind of stand. Tell me more a little bit about this, because I'm also very interested to hear what this tool can do.
Yes, yeah, Michael. So what we've developed, what we've done over time, we've had a lot of discussions. Let me start here. We've had lots of discussions with manufacturers, and as we know through discussions, a lot of common terms come up. One of them is automation, and through the discussions, everybody wants to automate as much as they can, as quick as they can, and everyone feels they're ready. So through these discussions, though, however, we've realized there's quite a gap between where a manufacturer thinks they are and where they actually are. And this has been determined over, questions and discussions back and forth. So with that said, we felt it was a good idea to develop a tool that would help manufacturers with some insights into where they may be. Now, they may be further than they think. It hasn't happened too often. They may be further behind than they think, but that's not the point. Is it's a good discussion point to understand where you are and how do you get to the next level. So with that said, yes, Michael, we will have a Automation Readiness Advisor tool. This is something we developed. I'm particularly excited about it. So as I mentioned, instead of just talking about automation, we give the manufacturers the opportunity to think about where they are today. So yes, we have this interactive Automation Readiness Advisor at the booth designed to help the manufacturers in several areas. So it'll also offer areas of where you biggest improvement, where you can make the greatest improvement. So at the end of the day, the goal with this isn't to give someone a score and send them on their way. The true value is to have meaningful conversation. And I mentioned this earlier today on another topic, but again, you need to understand where you are today, where you want to go, and what needs to happen between those 2 points. So I think it will be a good, fun experience for our visitors, and this would also be a great reason to stop by the booth and check it out.
Absolutely. You definitely will see a leaderboard of the more successful companies, and you can see where you stand in comparison to these very successful companies that are already utilizing these things. Now, just along with the MES, where we are introducing this foundation package, on the CAM side, there's also a very particular package that we're pitching at the IMTS that will be introduced at that show and will run for until around the end of October. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so with the IMTS, we have this special package, as you mentioned, Michael, about mainly centered around the CAM side, CAD and CAM, let's call it. But I don't want to get ahead of final details or reveal too much here. But this special package would be good for many, meaning somebody new to Tebis, somebody who is an existing, Tebis customer or partner, and they want to expand their business. So it's going to be a very attractive package that it would be very worthwhile for you to stop by and ask us about this special IMTS package.
Yeah, and this package, the preferred client package that John is alluding to, and maybe I'm giving a little bit too much away now since he said we want to keep some of that quiet, includes everything. It's a package all inclusive, and it is talking exactly about the automation portion of it that we're so extremely proud for, and we have been leading the industry with, which is the virtual machine. So it includes all of that. So definitely talk to us about the preferred client package, as well as the foundation package on the MES side. Now, John, you and I know CAD/CAM without the machine is really nothing. It's a great tool with ones and zeros in your computer, but really the machine tools that are out there is really what manufactures at the end the particular parts that are in digital format. So just like in any of the other IMTSs, who is Tebis kind of partnering up this year around? Where can they also see Tebis in action?
So at the show, one of our partners, Hermle machine tool company, very high-end, strong machine tool manufacturer. We're very proud and happy to be a partner of theirs. As you mentioned earlier, Michael, with modern manufacturing, the software, machine tools, tooling, automation, process knowledge all have to work together if you want the complete process to perform as expected. So working with partners such as Hermle in this case, this gives us an opportunity to connect the digital Tebis process to the actual machining and demonstrate that relationship using an aerospace application. So this is where part that we were working with Hermle. So in short, it's one thing for us to show something on a computer screen. It's another thing to connect that digital process to a high-class machine tool and show what the complete manufacturing process can accomplish. So you need that connectivity, or as you mentioned before, it's just not going to work so well.
Right. So definitely stop by the Tebis booth, take a look at the aerospace part of a structure part that we have sitting in our booth, and then take that image, don't take the part, but take the image with you over to the machine hall of the IMTS and search out Hermle. Take a look at that part that is sitting inside their machine that's being machined live at that particular show. Where is Tebis located at the IMTS, John?
You can find us in the Lakeside Lakeside Center. It's the East Hall. Our booth number is 133230. You may have to look it up again, but but that is the number. I would encourage people not to just simply walk by and look at a software demonstration, but yeah, please come in and talk with us, have a conversation, ask questions, let us know where your struggles are, and we have a very strong team there that we would be more than happy to have a conversation with you, understand a little bit more, and hopefully offer you solutions. We can't guarantee until we understand the situation, but that would be our goal, and we'd be happy to have the discussion to see where it leads.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're all ready for you for all the exciting conversations that are going to be at IMTS. But even more excited, we have a special guest at least one of the days at our booth, camped out for the majority of the day. And we're very proud that MTD CNC has partnered up with Tebis for the IMTS show. Tell us a little bit more. What we can see there?
We've worked a long time with MTD CNC, very reputable company. We're excited to have them spend time with us at the booth. They're very good at getting beyond just the marketing message and having real conversations about manufacturing technology. They do, I don't know if you've seen them or you're aware of them, they do a fantastic job when they speak to individuals. And I think that will add another interesting dimension to what we're doing, for one, but also this also gives an opportunity to share some of the technology demonstrations and even some conversations from IMTS with people that unfortunately may not be able to attend. I would hope everyone in the manufacturing tries to attend. It's a very important show, but if not, the nice thing, MTD CNC, it'll be recorded and you'll be able to watch this else at another time if you can't make it.
Right. Actually, Lindsay Vickers is going to be actually attending the IMTS, and she will be part of our team for a brief portion of the duration of the IMTS. So we're excited to have them on board with the Tebis group. Stop by at our booth too, say hello to MTD CNC. They're a huge powerhouse. You've seen them on LinkedIn, YouTube, and whatnot. And they really are doing great work when it comes to highlighting manufacturing and new technology that is out there so that everybody can capture those particular technologies. John, what are you, what are you looking for at IMTS?
There's so many things happening at IMTS, and I truly enjoy the conversations that we'll have with manufacturers coming to our booth. But also, a very interesting thing for me is simply walking the show and seeing where manufacturing is headed, because obviously we're there, we have a booth, but at the same time, there's so much around you that you can't just stay in your booth the whole time. That's why we have many staff members, so we can learn also. You have machine tool builders, automation companies, software companies, robotics, inspection. It goes on. And I personally will always come away from IMTS having learned something new. And I think this is a very good point to bring up, because no matter who you are, you go to this show, you will learn something new. But like I said, what I'm looking forward to the most are the conversations, just to hear from the manufacturers, their experiences right now, what their challenges are, and where they need the most help, because ultimately those conversations are what help us at Tebis determine where we need to go next, what we need to do. We always have to be looking forward, as we do as a a technology provider, and having that understanding and how to give you the best tools, that's really what I want to take away most.
Awesome. Well, you said it best, conversations, that's going to be the highlight, and meaningful conversation, helping out people that have problems. And that's really what we're there for, is to solve problems that manufacturers are running into their daily lives. And why not do that at the Tebis booth? Any final thoughts, John, before we wrap it up?
For me, I want to say thank you to all the listeners and the audience. And I really encourage everyone, if you can, please spend a day's not enough, but if that's all you can do, show up, spend some time at IMTS, come see us at the Tebis booth. Manufacturing isn't getting simpler. It's becoming more complex. So, use all the sources you can, get the understanding from individuals you speak with, and this will surely help your business move forward.
Absolutely. Thanks, John, for coming on the podcast. To everybody else, IMTS 2026 is happening in Chicago at the McCormick Place from September 14th through the 19th. Throughout that duration, definitely stop by at the Tebis booth. As John already said, it's at booth 133230. You can't miss us. We're definitely a staple at the East Hall and Lakeside Center. Of course, John already mentioned we have our very skilled expert team at this particular show. We'll be showing you the SmartOps technology, how our simulation has been the industry leader when it comes to virtualization. We're going to show you the MES, in particular the foundation package that we have put together and how it seamlessly works together at the show. And there's a lot of models that we have sitting, aluminum models although you can really see the accuracy and the surface finish that Tebis can produce that not many other solutions can get there. Again, we thank John for showing up at this very special episode, extra special, as I said at the very beginning. We thank all of you listeners to listen to us at the All Access Podcast. If you have any suggestions or any comments, drop us a line so that we can answer some of those questions. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all of those areas where you get your social media from. We thank you again for joining in. Check us out, any of the existing episodes on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcasts. And again, IMTS booth 133230. Hope to see you there. Thank you. Until then.
Thank you for joining this episode of All Access. Please leave a comment or review with your feedback or what you'd like to hear in future episodes. To learn more about manufacturing technology solutions and Tebis's capabilities, visit our website at Tebis. That's TEBIS.com.